Hello again. Uh, Back for another week. This week actually went by pretty fast for me, so I'm actually kind of aware of what happened this week. As far as my goals are concerned, they've actually been going pretty smoothly. Last week I was talking about how this is mostly in relation to college, but since all of my goals are actually proceeding pretty swimmingly without many issues whatsoever. Um, I talked about how I was utilize. I think it was Thursday. It doesn't really matter what day, but one day during that week, I had I had essentially missed a lot of assignments because I spent the entire day pretty much enslaved to my addiction to pornography for the day. Of course, I pretty much recovered immediately after that, but you know, not last week, the week before, or yeah, the week before last week. And I was talking about my dissatisfaction with that, and that didn't happen this week. I'm actually really happy to report that this week that wasn't a problem at all. It was pretty interesting. I think I've done stuff like this before, but this is the first time I've done it kind of consciously, where I'm able to juggle, needing to tend to this issue while also kind of keeping up with my work. Uh, I could probably learn a little something from that when it comes to more more consistently just doing work in general. So, at least work at home. This isn't much of an issue if I were doing this at like a public setting or something. But yeah, I've I remember talking about how I wanted to be a bit more strict on myself with going to bed at around 10 o'clock, and also making sure I do more assignments much earlier. And for the most part, I have fulfilled that second one. There is definitely something to be said. Uh, but I'll give myself some credit. As far as sleeping goes, I've actually been pretty consistent with that. It's been a little stressful because sometimes it feels like I would like to use that last hour or two of the day for more work, but I mean, at that point, it's just you should have balanced your shit, brother, better, brother. That's your problem, man. Take it as a fucking lesson and move on. Ugh. Sheesh. But okay. Uh, After this, I'm gonna fucking get a tissue. Um, but the onto the onto the doing schoolwork early. I have been doing that. It definitely got a lot better because I did do a lot of my work much earlier in the week, and it allowed me to more naturally flow through the rest of the week. So I actually kind of adhered to a schedule. Quotes. I didn't actually schedule anything. I just took whatever was closest to the due date and did shit for that, and then moved on. And right now, the only reason I say for the most part I've made good on that is because I still have two classes that I haven't really done much of anything for, which is also because starting this week when I'm trying to make good on that idea, I was still a little behind, which bit of an issue, but I'll just have to compensate for that today, which I have been doing a little bit of. I've already completed two of like 8 assignments that I need to get done by Sunday tonight. It's Friday, Sunday midnight. So I should be, and they were easy assignments, by the way, which I also already had the reading and all the other required shit done. So they were done in like 30 minutes tops. Um, so I just have to move on to the classes that I haven't quite done any of the prerequisites for and get done with that. I should be able to get one of my classes done, and then the other one. I can very easily spread over the 2 days or just hard focus and get done in one day, no problem. But that was mostly just because I had to catch up on some stuff, which it kind of threw the idea out of whack because usually the approach that I had going into it was I would knock one class out of the way, be done with that, no problem. And based off the due dates, it looked like I could do that. But then you look at the whole Sunday figure and you realize, oh, I'm just compensating for being slow last week. So yeah, now I'm trying to. Also, I'm referring to this as the work week, which starts with Monday and ends with Sunday, and not the weeks that I usually use when it comes to my goals, which is starts with Sunday, ends on Saturday. I never really got the distinction between that, but now I kind of do. It's a lot easier to think about too if I plan with the work week in mind and then do everything else like retrospectively with just a regular the normalization of the normal week in mind. But it's I'm trying to recover. Hopefully, not even really a hopefully. After this, I should be caught up and I should be able to start incorporating that earlier mentality a lot quicker because I won't have things I need to catch up on. And last week was a tad weird anyway, so I'm not gonna fully blame myself for being out of whack there, but at the same time, like I definitely was out of whack because of myself. I can't just absolve myself of any responsibility. That's fucking stupid. It was equal parts my own fault as well as this strange schedule we had going on for last week, so yeah. But that's just how it's gonna go for now. Everything's I'm gonna try to do things super early. At the very least, I'm gonna try to knock out one class in a day. Work on that the lion's share of that class in the day, depending on due dates. Due dates can fluctuate depending on the assignment, so I might focus on a due date. Might focus on two classes in one day because of due dates are on the same day, which is something that actually happened twice this week because Tuesday and Thursday were both days that something was due. So I kind of had to focus on specifically those things in one day, which I'd also like to congratulate myself a little bit for actually doing it the day before the due date. That usually doesn't happen. I usually can't just get up and do that. So that's a great step forward. It's nothing crazy for sure, but it is a great step forward, at least in the direction I want to go. I am still rather dissatisfied with my performance this week, specifically because of yesterday. And that is because yesterday I did nothing. I didn't even read. I told myself I wanted to read that day, just at the very least get the course reading done, and then today I could do all of the assignments. Didn't even fucking do that. I'm not going to say I wasted my time because I used it on something I wanted to use it on, like something valuable, but still, that thing took less press, had way less urgency to it than fucking than fucking doing my schoolwork. So yeah, I am dissatisfied, but I can recognize that I've actually made some decent steps in the right direction. I just need to keep it up. So yeah. Also, another thing I've noticed this week, without the more frequent allowance of pornography usage, I am getting a bit more stressed, and that I am feeling the potential shutdown. So I can't get too mad at myself for Thursday because it is me trying to replace something that's well not there anymore. I just need to learn how to replace it more healthily. That's all. And this did work a little bit on Wednesday and Tuesday when I was Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday, where I was using most of the early day to just kind of work towards my work goals, and then afterwards, I would spend most of the day just like playing a video game that I really wanted to play, or watching shows, or de-stressing with some YouTube videos. So I'm probably gonna stick to that schedule where later in the day I try to focus less on doing work and more on leisure activities so that I can at the very least somewhat substitute that desperate need for porn, because sheesh, not even need, I know it's not a need, it's a want, it is a desperate want for it. I don't need it, I just really want it. So I'm going to try to substitute it with those types of recreational activities, as well as, stuff like the whole working out thing. I want to I want to incorporate that more heavily. And I will admit that has been for the days that I've been doing it, that has been a great way to de-stress. So having it escalate at the same rate uh, as my goal to abstain for a whole month was a very smart decision. I'm not gonna let myself do a full week though. That is that is a bad move. Frankly, that's just not a great decision. So yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. That's my plan for the rest of the month, and there's only going to be one more video which will detail the entire month, and then I'll probably also discuss the escalations and if I have any new goals. But I think as far as things go, February was rather uneventful. But anywho, I'll see myself next time.